Hi, everyone, and welcome to Bonding with Ashley. I'm your host, Ashley Fond. Thank you so much for joining me today. As some of you know, I recently went on a girls' trip, and that trip consisted of the board. So, the other ladies that I danced with on the Chicago Bulls dance team. And it was really fun because one of the things that we did was watched some of our old performances. So we busted out the DVD player and watched some of our old performances, and it was so much fun to watch together. And everyone started sharing stories, and it was just really exciting and fun to do together, especially because we haven't seen any of those dances or watched those performances in so long, if ever, to be honest. So that was really special moment together. But as I was watching those videos, I was reminded of many things. Crystal and I did an episode together, and Crystal's one of the women that I danced with and one of my very dear friends. And her and I did an interview, and we actually started talking a little bit about some of the things that we learned dancing for the Chicago Bulls and other parts of our experience. And so, watching these videos, I was reminded of a few different things that I wanted to share in relation to resilience, because I think in order to move forward in life and continue to move forward and put ourselves out into the world, you have to have a little bit of resilience, or varying degrees of it, if you will. So here are three things that I was reminded of watching these performances. One, if you have the drive and a goal, you can do and overcome so much more than you think you can. And I was actually reminded of this because there was one performance where we used chairs. And one of the other girls was like, "Oh my God, Ashley, this was when you got hurt on court." And so before the games, we would practice on the court. So it'd probably be like, I don't know, 2 hours maybe before the game was about to start. We would get time on the court to practice our routine. And the routine for that game was utilized chairs. And we usually use these one chairs. And for whatever reason, we used these different chairs, and they had a metal back. Important for the stories. I know you're like, just get to it, Ashley. But these chairs like flipped almost the opposite way. So we're in the middle of practice, and I step on the chair like I'm supposed to do this move, and the chair flips and folds. My foot goes through, and I fall over the chair with the metal part of it essentially going right up into my rib cage. And I am immediately like, and then all of a sudden the tears start. I'm trying to keep dancing and keep moving. We only get a certain amount of time on the court. So I'm also trying not to like take too much time. And I also can't really tell, like, am I really injured? Am I really hurt? Am I just kind of like stunned for a moment? I'm not really sure. And so I was pretty much like, asked, like, "Am I okay? Like, can I keep it together and keep going?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And I have like tears like going down my face. And the whole time, like, because even the other girls were talking about it, we were like, I was like, "You guys, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm a little concerned. Like, I don't know. I'm just in pain. I'm in pain. Like every time I breathe, it hurts really bad. I don't know what it is." And but I told myself, I was like, I'm going to do this game. I love dancing. I love being a part of this. I'm not going to put myself out of the routine because we have we went through all of these things. And if you guys don't know, if you're a dancer, you have to pay attention to formations. We pay attention to where we are on the court. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to miss a game. I'm not going to complain about this. I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm like, we're just going to get through it. And I got through the game. I was in pain, but I was doing something I loved at the same time. Found out, got some x-rays, found out, they're pretty confident I had a hairline fracture in my rib cage, but if you've ever experienced anything like that, you know there's really not much they can do for your ribs. So I rested up the rest of that week and then, you know, was back to normal relatively shortly after that. My point is not to stretch yourself so thin that it gets to an unhealthy level. But at the same time, I also kind of knew if it was my ribs, there really was nothing that they could do for it anyways. Most likely I wasn't going to do anything worse. And the drive that I had to do my job and to be a part of the Bulls community and experience and that moment was more important to me than pulling myself out. I had been injured at other times, you guys, and I was very honest and knew that I couldn't dance or, you know, that wasn't the best thing for me. But in that moment, and then so watching that dance, I was like, ooh, like we all looked so good out there on court. The routine looked great. So my point is, you can get through more than you think you can mentally and physically if you have a goal and the drive and the passion to do so. So push yourself faithfully, please. Secondly, get up, dress up, show up. And what I mean by that is you will have moments in time and moments in life where you feel like you have been kicked in the gut and you can't possibly go out into the world, and you can. Sometimes in those moments, you do need to just get up, put yourself together, and show up, even when you don't want to. And I think if you can do that, when you look back at those things, you will be happy that you did. So get up, dress up, show up. I have a lot more stories that go into that, especially because being a part of the Bulls and performing and dancing, you really did have to dress up. I mean, you had to really put yourself together and do all the hair and makeup. And, you know, there was a lot of times where, not a lot, but there were times where I just felt like I can't do this. And I had to remind myself that it was A, my job, and B, something that I loved. And so that's what I did. So I do encourage you to, sometimes you have to get up, dress up, show up. And if you know yourself well enough, you know when those times are. And 3, recover, don't react. So watching these videos, you guys, people mess up. There was one routine me and one of the girls were laughing and I was like, did I even do the move correctly? I don't think I did. And you know, sometimes you have these moments where all of a sudden your brain forgets what it's supposed to be doing and you're out on the court and you're dancing in front of 22,000 people and you forget something. But our director used to always say, recover, don't react. And it was true because you can mess up a moment, something that is 3 seconds of a routine, and half the people will never even see it. And if you continue on and you recover, half the people may never know. But if you react to it and stop yourself and pull yourself out of that moment, that is when it is harder to get back into things. So I think about that in life a little bit when it comes to having resilience. Sometimes we need to recover and not react, whether that's a situation that you need to think about before you actually react in the moment, or sometimes you need to just keep moving forward to keep that momentum moving forward. So instead of spending the time reacting, you are spending the time quickly recovering and continuing on and continuing to forward, throw yourself forward, build your momentum, and keep going. So, those are three things. One, you can do more than you think you can if you have the drive and the passion. Two, get up, dress up, show up. And three, recover, don't react. I hope that inspires you to build a little bit of resilience into your day, your week, your month, your daily habits, your goals. But those are a few things that I keep in mind and I was reminded of as I watched some of my old performances. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you next time.